This is video journal for week 7. This is EDUU 677, Autism Spectrum Disorders, Programming and Strategies 2 at Brandman University. The content for this week's video journal is a discussion of the collaborative process in the fieldwork. And I'll begin, I think, with just a look at a couple of, I'll call them principles, or rather the product of collaboration. Two things, and I guess I could consider them two features of collaboration. One of them being to foster collegiality. And I pause because of the variability in the collaboration that's taken place. It's been both positive and negative. The other feature that I'd like to outline is reducing teacher isolation. And I'll try to deal with those two features as I go through this recording. But typically, in answering the first question, who has collaborated and how, the collaboration has taken place between myself, I'm a special education teacher, general education, and inclusion teachers. Correction. Inclusion and special ed, not general ed. Anyway, the collaboration was basically either in person or via email. And I think what would happen most times is, even though email is the primary way we communicate at our particular school, sometimes teachers may overlook those things that they don't deem at least important for them to read. So then I would have to typically follow an email up with a phone call. Or, like I said, I would go in person. Just to check up on, their progress with the particular checklists. And was that collaboration effective? I would say yes and no. And let me categorize it this way. For the special education teachers, the collaboration was great because there is a general understanding about special needs populations. And so working with them was very positive. On the other hand, inclusion teachers, unfortunately, were less than supportive. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. One, I think, and I jotted things down here. One of them, I believe, the reason for the level of teacher engagement being so varied was that I think some of the inclusion teachers looked at the exercise as, well, just one more thing for me to do, or you see to that attitude, which kind of means, listen, the kids, well, the attitude is, and this is generally speaking, it is not everybody who's inclusion, but these particular teachers, they seemed as though they didn't want to be bothered with that. As I already stated, it was just one more thing for them to do. So I think that affected not just the way they responded on like the checklist, but also just their discussions with me. And I think another piece to that is the immediacy of the assignment. And I think because the inclusion teachers did not have, I would say, foreknowledge that, I would be calling for their support in this way. Again, it just felt like, to me, it was just one more thing for them to do. So that was unfortunate. So it really did not surprise me, I guess I would say. Um, Unfortunately, that's just the way some are. Um, and what made the collaboration effective on the SPED side? I think I've kind of stated that. I think the fact that special education teachers know that these students have particular needs and that we need to support each other. I think that's sort of ingrained in our psyche. So discussions with them were great. What do you need me to do? Let me know if you need more. And again, that's the gist of like the differences there. The question as to what could be done to improve the collaboration, to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you. Because the one thing you can't change is a person's attitude. And I think that most of the inclusion teachers have, unfortunately, a negative attitude towards special education. And while they may not mean to, be unkind or unsupportive, it certainly came across that way, as if, why should this matter? And it's too bad. Um, Collaboration. So what collaboration did you engage in as a part of implementing your fieldwork intervention assignment? Not sure if that's a redundant question or not. Um, but I think I mentioned when in how we collaborated, um, phone, email, in person. And like I said, I think that generally the procedure was positive. Just want to make sure I don't skip anything here. Um, I'm going to go back to the immediacy of assignments. That's nobody's fault. But when I did some research on like collaboration um, principles. And one of those is to have shared vision and goals. That didn't seem to happen here on the inclusion side. Sense of community, that didn't seem to happen either. And working through conflict. And I think the conflict was basically time. Uh, the inclusion teachers obviously have a sense of, I don't know, maybe they felt a sense of threat. I don't know. Um, and I really, and I can't think of a better word, but I just wish that they would have been more supportive. But that's not to say that the entire experience was that way. That's just a couple of teachers. But thankfully, it wasn't just inclusion because I'm really not sure how the field experiment might have gone. But generally, like I said, I think it was a overall positive experience. I'd do it again. But I think that I would probably either, well, I really didn't have a choice with inclusion teachers because those were the teachers assigned to the target student. Because I'm saying if I could pick inclusion teachers, I would do that, but that's not possible. But overall, pretty good experience. And yeah, I think that's what I wanted to answer. I think I've covered every question there. Um, but yep, so this was video journal for week 7, EDUU 677 at Brandman University.